Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
And we are live. It's Tuesday night, a little bit early this week, but that's because we wanted to definitely make sure we had our special guest able to come on. So with me always is Tony.
What is going on, people?
And Tony, would you like to introduce our very special guests?
I will. It's been a while. We've had them on before, but this was, I don't even want to even attempt to guess how long ago. But for the upcoming movie, Crawl or Die 2, we have Nicole, Alonso, and Oklahoma Ward.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. It's been forever. It was with the first movie, which we loved. I don't know if you remember, but Leo, one of our former co-hosts, we both had somewhat of like panic attacks, you know, because we felt so claustrophobic, and we were amazed at like how you were able to pull things off with the budget you had and just how good it looked and what you used to actually get things done. You know, it's pretty impressive. So and also you had mentioned back then too that you were working on, this is going to be a trilogy. You're not done with Tank.
Yes.
So I'm psyched to see that it's finally happening. I know you guys have been working on it for a long time.
Yes.
So how long has the process been?
It's been a long journey. Because you know, being independent, you have to learn the system. We got a international distribution deal, and we had to learn how that system worked, learn the pros and cons of it. Because one thing that we learned very fast after the first movie, because we got on DirecTV and all that kind of stuff, and we thought, hey, we're set. And then you learn the ins and outs of the business, and I'm sure every independent filmmaker in the world, it's the same old story. We just decided to look at it a different way and go, instead of griping about it, maybe it's our job to learn the system, instead of sitting back and griping about the system. And so that took us years to do, honestly, because it over 3 years, our movie was being put out in territories. Our movie was being shown in the UK every single month for over a year, and we didn't even know it. So what we learned is it's not the distributor's job to help us. The distributor's job is to make money. Mm-hmm. And while some people will say, well, they're just money grabbing weasels, I go, well, no, they're really smart business people. That they're in the job to make money. Mm-hmm. And I went, so what's our job? And our job, we realized, is to build our fan base. And so what we decided to do was spend hours and hours and hours every single day trying to find out where our movie was around the world, and reach out and get in touch with that fan base, because nobody's going to do that for you.
Right.
I think one of the most critical things that we learned is, if you sit back and think, well, I've done my job, I've made the movie, now, hey, fans, come to me. That's not the way the world works. I tell filmmakers all the time, and it's a little controversial. I understand it. It may be a little harsh to hear, but I go, that's your fault. You need to go out there and grab your fan base. It's not the job of the fans to find you.
Right.
So it was a long journey, and I'm not going to get into all the deals. It's been widely said how much money we turned down and the reasons why we turned down the money for the sequels and all that. But what we have been doing is, when we decided to do this, it took us 2 years of pre-production, and then we've spent a year filming. We probably have another 2 months of pickups and all that, because what we've done is we didn't just shoot one movie. We shot 6 1.5-hour movies back
Holy
to back.
crap.
And sometimes I don't think people, even some of the actors, don't understand how large of a project that is, and plus how large of a project that is, including myself, even editing. It took us 5 months to edit the first movie, and I go, once I get, I'm like soft editing all of them, but I'll get really close on one episode, and I go, oh damn, I have 3 more 1.5-hour movies to go. But it's been exciting. We're really excited about it. I did it for this reason. I want to tell the whole story arc, and I didn't want to be 92 years old finishing story. So I positioned myself to when I went, okay, here's a 1.5 years of my life. This is the time to do it. And I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to do what I have to do to tell this story and get it done. And,
nice. So it's going to be bigger than a trilogy, then, I take it. If you have 6 1.5 hours, yeah. So that's awesome.
What helped me decide to do that, whether people liked it or not, was when Scorsese did The Irishman, and I went. I liked what he did. He didn't care about the time. He had a story to tell, so he put that out, and I went, you know what? That's what I want to do. I just want to go out there. I want to tell the story. I don't want to, when we did the first movie, distributors were telling us at the time, I don't care what your story is. If it's longer than this amount of time, we won't take it. So, we were caught within that parameter. Mm-hmm. And I understand it. They wanted to be able to put it on a DVD and not worry about it and all that. But, the world has changed. And now, we were watching WandaVision or The Mandalorian. I think one episode is 32 minutes. One is an hour. The next one's 22 minutes. It doesn't seem to matter so much to an audience anymore, as long as you're telling a story.
Yeah. As long as it's told well and, interesting, because same deal watching Mandalorian, like, I don't even realize that there's that much of a time difference, because if it's just done right, it's done right. And,
yes, exactly.
But a lot of the time too,
it'll hinder if you're forced to cut something out of your movie, it'll hinder your story. So I respect that you stuck with your guns on that, for sure.
Because I think nowadays a lot of these distributors think they know what people want, but 95% of them have no clue. Like when they like, what people don't realize, especially with a lot of independent movies and sometimes the route you guys take. Like, a lot of the times when people watch a movie from distributors, that's not the movie that was originally intended. And they're like, oh, this movie, it's like, well, I could just imagine, like, all these cuts, like director's cuts and all that stuff. And they're like, where'd this movie come? Oh, well, it's the distributor that thought, okay, this is what people want. And like I said, a lot of the times these big distributors have no clue whatsoever.
Well, one thing that we learned to back up what you're saying is it's the most fascinating thing I've ever run across. is what I've learned is that a lot of producers, a lot of distributors, I go, you kind of want to be a filmmaker, but you don't want to, you want an out. In other words, they want to sit there and tell us, and it happened on our first movie, you need to change this, this, and this. But they're in a really safe position because if I make those changes and it fails, it's on me. It's not on them. And they can say, hey, I didn't make the movie. I told them to do this, you know, and I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense to me because one of the things I do on set, for instance, I use Matt Crabtree for the special effects. I might tell him that's not working in the camera, but I let him do his thing. You know, you delegate and go, I want this person on this project because they're good at what they do. If not, hell, I would just do it. But you know, I get our experience anyway, and I agree with you. I can see it in movies all the time. Case in point, I'm not going to get into which one people like, but let's take a look at Justice League. I can totally see. I'm telling you right now, I can see all the producers and everybody who think they know, putting all the notes in and going, no, you have to do it this way. And then they step back and go, you know what? Why don't we just let this guy have some freedom and do what he does? And, you know, please.
People are loving it. Yeah, there's even going down to like more like cult movies too. Like there's a movie that I actually my band had a song in, and I thank the director for putting it in because I sent him stuff a long time ago. He's like, I didn't put it in. He's like, I was getting this movie released by this company. They asked me for all the raw footage and all the agreements that I had. I sent it to them. They re-edited the movie and put their song in it. So you can thank them. I'm like, oh well, thanks. Yeah. Like,
I guess
that is where I will say I was a little bit lucky in that I was able to form a relationship with the top distribution consultant in the world, Peter Broderick. He helped on Blair Witch. He helped on every George Miller movie. That was one of the things he said. Let me tell you right up front, what are the things that you don't want? And one of it was, I don't want to re-edit my movie. And he was like, okay, we got to put that in contract. And I was like, wait, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, because they, you know, a lot of times independent filmmakers, they sign over all those rights. And what you're signing over is they have the right to re-edit, you know, make changes. Because they're trying to fit. And let me make this clear. I can bag on this and I can have a problem with it. But one thing distributors are good at is making money for themselves. And so they know a formula that works for them to make money. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with art. It doesn't have anything to do with the fan base. And so there's that fine line. And I try to tell all independent filmmakers, listen, everybody makes the same mistake the first time. You know, you sign away, you give everything away. But what I have learned is that if you stand up and ask for some things, they actually kind of respect you because they go, oh, well, this person is also a business person. You know, and I think that's very hard for artists because of the world we live in. I think they already beat themselves up and, you know, they always, you know, in society, it is what it is. Unless you make millions of dollars, people are like, oh, they probably sleep all day and, you know, they're just doing it for fun. So I think artists have a hard time standing up for themselves business-wise. But I try to tell independent filmmakers all the time, no, do it. You'll actually gain respect from people who are in business.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah. So I just want to, before we go too far, we only have 104 minutes left on the Kickstarter. So if you go to Crawl or Die Trilogy, there's a link to the Kickstarter right there. you're a little bit more than halfway to your goal. So that's good, but 104 minutes. So we got to get this done. So that way, these can be completed and we can see them.
Yes.
Look, it's what I tell people all the time, and I had a hard time saying this out loud. And again, I'm going to throw credit to Peter Broderick for saying this to me. And actually, when he said it to Nicole and I, it took us both aback. And then I'll be quiet and let you all talk to the attractive person. We were trying to get the movie out there, and knowing that we were competing with every movie that has millions of dollars for PR, and how are we going to get eyeballs on us? And we were frustrated, and Peter was like, look, you got to figure it out. You're doing the impossible. That's what independent artists have to do. You have to go. You are doing the impossible, and it's not a joke. It's not. It is the absolute truth. If you look at it and realize what you're trying to do is get people to go, I'm going to ignore Matthew McConaughey. I'm going to ignore King Kong versus Godzilla, and I'm going to pay attention to this movie over here. And who are you people? Mm-hmm. And in one sense, it is an impossible task. You have to be creative. You have to work your ass off. You have to be humble. You have to talk to everybody. You have to stand on the street corner and grab people and say, hey, look at this. Because we learned on the first movie, that's our job. That's the job of any independent artist in the world, from singers to painters to filmmakers. It's our job to reach the audience. It's not their job to find us. And I think that was one of the most astounding lessons that Nicole and I learned.
Yeah. I mean, we don't, I mean, us as fans, like, we find a lot of the stuff, but I'm just a guy in Massachusetts. Like, you were talking before we went live that you have a good fan base in other countries.
Right.
And so it's like, they obviously, they had to find you as well, or you had to find them. And it sounds like you've done it. So that's awesome. So what is that like for you, Nicole? Like, because you're a tank. So what is that like for you as like the star of this movie, to have people in other countries being like, we're like,
it's pretty surreal, especially when we did the first movie and it came out in those territories, and I started getting people writing me, and again using like translating programs and stuff, and just hearing how much Tank affected their life and how much she meant to them as a character and gave them strength and everything. It was surreal, and it was very humbling to be like, I was able to be part of something and be a character that people connect with. So it's pretty amazing, and it's part of why both of us, I think, fought so hard when we were going to bring her back and tell more of her story, to maintain control over who she is and what she's about. And we had some people that wanted to pick up the movie, that wanted her to have crazy sex scenes and all this stuff. And we were like, no, that is not what we're trying to say with Tank. That is not who she is. So it feels good knowing that we're bringing her back exactly how she should be brought back.
And I totally respect that too. Like, it's like, if it's warranted, it's warranted. But if that's not the character, that's not the character. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, that's I totally respect that. That's one thing that drives me crazy. And when you see like actresses be like, "Oh yeah, I finally had to do this," and I'm like, "But did you really though?"
Exactly.
Like,
because before, when I was saying district, like, we've had people on there where they're like, "Oh, you need this much nudity, this much this,"
Yep.
and it's like, again, going back to the distributors, it's like, how do you think that works? Do you hear the people where everything
worked on a few of the movies that they put out, but it's not going to work on all of the movies that they put out. Like,
no, but how many times now? Especially, I want to get to this point, but then I have another one for you guys too. Speaking about independent film, but how many times do you hear, "I've seen this movie"? It's the same thing, cookie cutters and all that stuff, and it's just like, that's because you think you know what every movie should be, and it's not. But coming back to independent, I think going to like COVID and stuff, I'm sure it'll come up in this interview. But I think last year, the one good thing that came out of the whole COVID deal is with these big movies, nothing was getting made. So I think a lot of independent films now got their eyes on them just because that's the only thing that was either coming out with Shudder or Netflix or anything, because a lot of the big budget movies weren't being made. So now I think there's going to be a little bit more eyes, maybe not, as many as these big budget films, but I think this year it's going to, I think people are like, okay, well, where did these movies come from? Let me actually look for them. So I think this year might be a little bit different than, so.
It's a terrific point. And it's kind of how we turned everything that was going on into a positive as much as we can. I'm not belittling the severity of everything that happened, but I'm saying we decided to go, okay, what can we do? How can we turn this into a positive? And it's funny too, because I have family members who literally were like, well, you didn't get the movie out in time, and I'm like, oh honey, you don't understand. like just because that situation is winding down and major Hollywood films are starting to come back out, I go, you don't understand. There is still a 1.5 year lag. Movies aren't just shot in a year and then they come out. Everything happens in a 2-year, 3-year span. And so you're absolutely right. I guarantee you in 2022, there are going to be so many independent films that are coming out because, there's still going to be that, minus the films that were shot and they held back from coming out. A year off in Hollywood means anything they even start shooting now is not going to be coming out for another 2.5 years. And I agree. There's an opportunity there, which is honestly something that we looked at and said, listen, I know this is going to be a long project. I know this is not something that's been done on this level before. 7.5 hours of film content shot within a year. We're going to be hitting that gap. And that is something from a PR business point of view that we considered and went, if we're going to do it, let's do them all now, because we will come 2022. There's never going to be an opportunity like that again, to where all these platforms that are coming out need content, and we're going to have content.
Yeah. So, and that being said, the original Crawl or Die is available on multiple streaming formats. You can rent it on Prime. You can buy it on Prime as well. It's also on Tubi.
Illegally.
What was that?
Illegally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just part of the business.
That's horrible. Because I was actually kind of excited to see it on that, because we've heard from other filmmakers that they actually pay out pretty well compared to some of the other ones.
Not seen it done.
Oh, man, that's horrible.
And look, I'm not putting Tubi down or anything. And there's maybe even a possibility that our distributor did a deal and didn't tell us. Who knows? The point is, we promoted it there. It's on, there's an illegal Russian site that has over 400,000 views. I log on and talk to the people. 50% of them love it, 50% hate it. I talk to both of them, because I go, our job right now is just to connect with the fan base. That's our job,
Yeah. So just real quick too, there's a few people. So this was at the beginning. It was Dan.
Hey Dan, Dan's actually in our movie in the sequel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's his character Gozer. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Dan. And then I don't know if he's in the movie too, but
Steve's a big supporter. He's been with us throughout the campaign, supporting. He was an early backer, so he's hanging with us.
Yep.
Nice.
Steve.
And he also wanted to say piracy, damn it.
Yes.
Which I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
But,
I'll just throw this out there real quick. This is how I look at piracy. I actually think musicians have figured this out better than filmmakers. musicians figured. I mean, I tell people all the time, when is the last time you bought an album? Even me.
Hey, Sean.
But musicians figured out, well, if we put a music video out on YouTube and it gets 20 million views, we're going to get paid. Filmmakers, we haven't figured that out yet. You know, how we can put out content and keep it, you know, we can't even do a live stream anymore with music or we get muted.
Yeah.
I don't know why right now our film is out on YouTube on like 8 sites.
Yeah, we actually tried to do a watch party on YouTube with our movie and they like banned us immediately. But then there's like 7 people on there with our movie up there for free. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I mean, I know Tony and myself, we buy way more movies than we do music. I mean, I still do buy music. If there's a band, even if they're like a major band, I still want to. I feel like I'm supporting them if I buy their music. So
I understand that.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably seeing a penny, but whatever.
Accolades to you all. Look, that's a rarity.
It is.
I'll give you an example, and it was a very, very sweet person from Japan that was talking to me, and they meant this with all politeness, but at the end of the interview, I said,
Thanks,
"Hey,
Johnny.
we'd love you to back the campaign," and they said, "Oh, I'll just wait. I'll get to watch it for free," but they weren't being an ass. They were, you know, it's just a younger generation, and I was like, "Well, okay, yeah, you're probably right."
All right then.
So you know, it is a large hill to try and navigate and overcome.
Yeah, it's different because musicians can make a living touring and selling merchandise, selling T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yes.
If someone's just like, a movie takes so long to make and it costs so much money to make, if you're just like stealing it, how's the next one going to be done?
Yeah.
Where's the money coming from?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that shows you the difference between true fans and just people that are, you know.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's why when people ask us why we spend so much time, a quarter of our time that we could be filming or editing or taking Nicole out on a date is literally us talking online, creating relationships with fans, because it is, I tell people this all the time, it's more vital than signing a contract with a distributor.
Yeah.
Because true fans like yourselves, talking about supporting musicians or an album, they are the backbone of anything that's going to happen. So
to answer Maxwell, if you're in the U.S., you can get a DVD or Blu-ray on Amazon Prime.
Or
he was wanting a physical copy.
Oh, you're wanting a physical copy.
Yeah. So
right.
it's right now it's $15 with $3.99 shipping on Amazon. I'm on there right now.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was cheaper than that. Well,
I don't know. Either way, it's worth it, and that's a DVD.
I got my copy up right on that little stack right there.
I love you guys. Thank you so much.
91 minutes. Yes. Thank you, Jason.
Yes.
Jason was also in the movie, and Sean, who was here earlier, is in the movie. These are our actors.
Awesome. Actually, we're about halfway to the point. So why don't we play the Kickstarter trailer?
Okay.
So if anyone's watching that's not in the movie, go over to Holiday Trilogy and click on the Kickstarter link and show them some love. I mean, you'll see in this Kickstarter trailer just how cool it looks. And then we talked the first time you guys were on about how you actually did stuff, and I was amazed, like at what you used to make it look like, just the tubes alone. I was like, huh? You did that? I'm like, I would die in that thing. That's crazy. But, so yeah, here is the Kickstarter trailer for Crawlodite 2, and here we go.
Thank you.
I'm Nicole Alonso, actor, singer, songwriter, and what you just saw was footage from our internationally loved film, Crawl or Die. The movie was filmed in that building right there behind me, and so is the sequel, the whole thing, every scene, because that's indie and that's what we do. I cannot wait to share it with you guys. You're gonna love it because Tank is back and in 4K. Yeah! Also returning is writer, director, producer, Oklahoma Ward, and here's some really cool behind the scenes footage.
Anyway, it's beautiful.
Tank is back.
So that, what you just saw, is what we have been working on for over a year. That footage right there. Obviously, we've already filmed it, so why are we here? Let me explain. We filmed in 4K, and what that meant was we had to buy 5 separate hard drives just to fit the footage. This hard drive, this hard drive, this hard drive. That alone cost more than the whole budget of our first movie. The last hard drive that we ended up having to buy ate up the cost of what we were going to spend on the theme song that we're going to do, the score, and then a little bit of the post-production cost. We need your help, and we have some awesome perks to offer you. I mean, stickers, comic books, jackets. The jackets they're the best. You guys gotta check those out. I'm proud to share them with you. Look, if you can't donate, that's okay. Seriously, if you guys just share it or help spread the word, tell your friends, tell your family, that helps as much as donations. And no donation is too small. And I mean that. Any dollar that comes in puts us one step closer to our goal. And with Kickstarter, it's important because it's all or nothing. So if we don't raise the whole amount, we don't get any of it. So I really, truly thank you guys for watching and taking the time to check this video out. Thank you for watching, and I am so excited to share this with you guys. Like, I can't wait. I really can't wait. Tank wants to thank you too.
There we go.
So the mohawk got bigger and the spaces got smaller.
Yes, exactly.
I just want to point out, Jeremy is saying that some of the tunnels are actually quite cozy.
Yes, well,
I will never know. Yeah, that's like a claustrophobic person's nightmare right there. But,
and this time around, we got to do what we weren't able to do on the first movie.
thank you, Diane.
We have actual fire in the tunnels, no CGI. We have water, tarantulas, way more backstory on the characters.
Oh, excited. How much more can I torture these actors? And
yeah,
top of it all.
You've already named multiple things that I'm terrified of, so
yes.
Congratulations.
It was a blast. You know, when you're not using digital effects, it takes a little more seriousness to make sure that you know what you're doing, because, you know, you don't really want anybody to get hurt. Although I told all my actors, if you do get hurt, I want to make sure to film it, and then we'll roll you off the property and pretend we don't know who you were.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a blast. We had a great time, and I think everybody did. It was grueling for the actors. A year of shooting is a long time, but everybody hung in, and it was a blast. I'm really excited to get it out there and let people experience hopefully something that they're going to love and have a great time with.
Yeah.
So and hearing that it's sorry, Kev,
no,
but hearing that it's, you know, more practical and all that stuff as a movie fan, especially. Like, that's what I love to hear. Like, going back to the old school, how,
Yep.
you know, I don't want to say how movies should be made, because, you know, digital here and there, there's only so much you could do at any given point. But being a movie fan and hearing that, I appreciate it more, because it's just like, sometimes you watch a movie and you're just like, oh,
Yeah,
that kinda
it takes you right
took me out of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, especially when it's just like, I definitely know that didn't happen. It's just like, But with that, I appreciate it that much more. With like real, you can look and be like, okay, that's real fire right there. That's not digital stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I mean, I grew up, you know, The Thing, and Alien, and Road Warrior. And, you know, I just grew up on that, and I love it. It's not me bagging on Kong versus Godzilla. I mean, I told the distributors that wanted to pick up the sequel, you know, a lot of them were like, look, we could film this faster if we just make it all digital. And I'm like, yeah, but what's your budget?
Exactly.
Because unless you have $50 million to make it look really good, you know, it to me, it takes you right out of it.
Totally. It totally does.
So, you know, that's where we're at. It was a great job by everybody.
Thanks, Diane.
We have a cast who Jodie the perfect.
I think we have a fabulous cast as well. Everyone's been super dedicated, and they're all so talented. So I'm excited that Tank has a lot more people surrounding her in this one. So lots more interactions and
more people to you know, cover your back, so that way.
We'll see. They're not my team. I can tell you that. So we don't know.
We have to wait to see. If you go to Kickstarter, you donate. Then maybe we can see a little sooner. Am I right?
Yeah.
But now I know that you know, no movie is easy to make, but being that it is a sequel, being you learn from the first one, did you take from the first one what might have been difficult and stuff? Like, was it, you know, that a little bit easier to make this one?
If I would have just made the sequel, yes.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, the other 6.
Yes. Look, yeah, sure, absolutely. You know, you learn a lot on every project, and I have now come to the belief that every filmmaker in the world, even Quentin Tarantino, I promise you, learns on every shoot. You just always learn things, you know. But what I did not consider was being independent, where you can't pay actors to be available. And if you have 40 people in a scene, these people have jobs, you know, they have emergencies that happen, and you have 38 people show up, but the 2 people that can't show up were in a conversation. All of a sudden you have 38 people standing around, and you're like, well, we can't film that scene. What are we going to do?
Actually, I thought that was harder about this one, because the first one we filmed in sequence. So as an actor, it's a lot easier to just develop with your character through the story. And this one, we were all over the place. So having to sort of imagine all these scenes without having gone through the previous scene was more challenging for me anyways. But we did a good job, I think.
Yeah. But absolutely, what I learned was what I thought didn't work and what I was trying to achieve. And I went, oh, this is how I can make it more claustrophobic. Let me get in here.
Oh, he did.
So yeah.
Well, more power to you. But so I kind of want to get back in on the fan side of things. So when we talked to you the first time, it was like a little after the first movie was coming out, and so did you guys get the opportunity to actually interact face to face with fans, like at conventions or anything? Were you able to do any of that before things kind of fell apart?
Yeah.
Distributors are weasels.
No,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that out loud. Go ahead, Nicole.
We did a little bit. Yeah, we had a couple. We had 2 screenings. So we had one in Los Angeles, and then we had one in Tulsa. And we had both of the screenings were totally sold out and full. And we had like Q&As afterwards, and got to meet and sign posters and meet the fans. And then we did do, I think, 2 different conventions in Tulsa. And we got to meet a bunch of people there. So that was fun. We're hoping to do a lot more of that this time. but it depends kind of what distribution we get and if they will allow us to screen it or anything. So we'll have to see, but
yeah, hopefully, and hopefully if conventions and stuff get back open, like for real, it'd be cool if you traveled. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'd love to. I would love to.
Then you got a bunch of cosplayers.
Oh yeah, that would be true too. Like if like with the movie where it's at now, like where you have fans all over the place, like what if you saw Tank cosplayers at the?
We had one actually that at the Tulsa screening. There's a guy that showed up dressed as Tank, and I think he was about 300 pounds, and he had booty shorts and a crop top and a mohawk, and he looked badass. We have so many pictures of him, so.
That's
that was great. I would love to see more of that. I died. I was like, oh my God, I was fangirling over him for doing it. So
it's funny.
It's awesome.
That's great.
Where it's a little difficult is like we had a whole city in Mexico. We had fans in the UK from the TV station that was playing our movie. And, Nicole and I don't have a lot of money. We didn't get paid any money up front. And we had these fans that were asking us to be there. And, our distributor decided it wasn't worth paying our plane ticket to go there. And so how we went around that is we reached out on social media and did everything we can from videos and personal things. So that's how we tried to interact with fans. We are this time around, my contract before we will sign with anybody has a touring budget so that we can physically meet, more so Tank than me. Nobody really gives a damn about the director. But
I care about directors. I'm just saying.
No.
In this genre, the fans of horror care about directors.
That is true. That is true. But still, it's 10% me and 90% her. But the truth is this. Again, this is what I would say to independent people out there. And it kind of alludes back to what you were saying. What did we learn from the first one? What we learned is the fans did want to meet us, and we felt horrible for the fans that we wanted to go talk to them.
Yes.
And I think, again, that's what distributors don't understand. It was the craziest thing to me. I'm like, there's a whole city that is shutting down for the weekend and putting up a screen of our movie, and they were trying to raise enough money to fly Nicole and I out there. And I'm like, help us make you money, and they just don't care. So this time around, we're going to make them care because we'll put it in contract. So,
but even if it may be a fan, even if, like you were saying, you were trying to interact with your fans, it would be lovely to meet everybody. But even you interacting with fans, it makes it that much better. Of course, I would love to go to conventions and give you a handshake and all that stuff. But even if you acknowledge your videos or anything like that, it's that's a lot better than, because sometimes you get these big actors and they're like, oh, Pasha, okay. But you interact with your fans and it's like, it makes us feel that much more. Like we say it all the time, like when we have guests on and they talk to us after, you guys we thank you for coming on. It's like a
big deal to us. I mean, that's
exactly.
A lot of people don't realize that it's a big deal. Like a lot of times we're fanboying out, because it's like I can't believe this person's cool enough to come and talk to me. Who am I? Like,
Well, and it makes us feel good. I mean, we live in a bubble. We have all the hardships that everybody else has in life, and then you're sitting here and you're going, does anybody even care? And so when somebody even sends us an email, and like I'm not kidding you, the fan base in Japan they are some of the most polite, beautiful people in the world. They always write her letters, and they start off by saying, "I hope this is not rude."
They might be bothering me, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. and
I love it.
It's something that I even tell my actors. I'm like, "Look, do you know how amazing it is that if one person in this world wants to talk to you about something that you're creating, you should be out there spending hours thanking them."
Yes.
Because
I don't understand anybody that wouldn't want to interact with the people that are supporting their work, because you wouldn't be able to do this if no one cared what the hell you were doing. Right. You wouldn't be doing it. So
if you didn't want people to watch it, then why put it out? Just
exactly.
Make it
I will never do it that way. I will always make time to speak to anybody that wants to speak to me about my work. So.
Yeah, I guess it depends on, sometimes people's egos get a little bit too ahead of themselves, like that they get too much adoration and stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, well, of course, it's my way. It's like, but it's one of those things where I think it's like a circle kind of deal, like where, especially with me, you were saying you have to build your fan base. I know that everyone that comes on our show, for sure, especially, you guys taking an hour out, the next time Oklahoma Ward puts something out, no matter what, as long as I hear about it, it'll be in the collection kind of deal. So it's not like it, especially Kevin says it a bunch. It's like he likes seeing, where you start from and to where you progress to. And it's one of those things where I like to say, okay, I have a complete so-and-so collection right here, starting from here to here. So it's always, I don't know, it's always fun.
I always tell people, we see it all the time on social media sites where people, you're like, wait a minute, you have 1.9 followers and you never talk to anybody. And, we know what's happened there. They bought, they bought that fan base. But I go, give me 300 real individual supporters and I'll be fine. Nicole and I have a saying all the time. You build a fan base one person at a time.
Yes.
And it truly is a miracle that with all the content and all the talent and all the PR out in the world, that somebody goes out of their way to support and back something that you're doing. It truly, it's going to sound hokey, but I think Nicole will back me up on this. It truly does keep us going. It really does.
Absolutely. Like I said, we've been live. Hi, Douglas from Australia.
Australia, that's pretty.
We've been live since Thursday night at 4:45 p.m. for 24 hours until this very moment, and that's the reason, to talk to our fans, to discuss with them about our Kickstarter and what we're doing, and just connect with them. And the support has been insane. It's been insane. Just so many people sharing and telling their friends and family and writing. So it's definitely something we make a priority, is to interact with everybody that supports us.
Yeah, and it's as fans, I'm sure they all appreciate it quite a bit. But speaking of supporting people, though, it's you have 71 minutes left on the Kickstarter.
Yep.
Get going if you haven't done it. Am I right, Tony? I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah, look, what you
the
guys
shares
are
and
doing
support
is
are
enough,
equally as helpful. Trust me. So
yeah.
Yes, Douglas actually Douglas made me a pair of Converse that has tank on them, and I have a picture of them somewhere. I'll post them in their live.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see that. Like, are they like the high top Chuck Taylors? Or?
Yeah. I mean, think about that. Like, in the world, this person was such a fan of Nicole and her character that he made a pair of shoes with her on, and then sent them to her.
Yes, they're awesome. I never wear them because I don't want them to get ruined, but I have them displayed in my room. So
yeah, that's you're actually making me feel a little bit more comfortable about, like, there's other people that I'm like, I'm fans of that are newer artists and stuff like that, and I'm in contact with them, and I'm like, I kind of wanted to do this for them, and I'm like, then they're gonna think I'm weird. Now maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Well, in my experience, unless they're kind of like what you were speaking about there, Tony, I mean, unless they think they're, to me,
we got a new backer.
If you have a fan, you're a lucky person in this world. And I don't mean that to sound PC or anything. I truly mean it, that they are fans. And look, I've been up for days now, and they have been staying up till 5. And these are people that have to get up and work 40-hour jobs.
Yep.
And they're staying up and helping us stay aware. And they remind people you have a Kickstarter campaign going on, and
how people follow, get connected to learn about the next step. So if it doesn't, we will probably come back and do like another campaign at maybe a smaller amount and just raise it in chunks instead of all at once. But we're going to remain hopeful. But yeah, just in case, you can just visit Crawl or Die Trilogy, sign up for our newsletter, and we will keep everyone informed of the next steps from there. So
we're not going to stay down. It's not going to be the end of anything.
This movie is getting made. We will make sure it happens no matter what we have to do. So
but we're going to remain positive. That doesn't mean like, well, okay.
but we still would love donations.
Like, we really want to hit it, but
switching over to 4K. I mean, that seems like an expensive choice that you may not have realized when you switched over with all the hard drives. That's insane. Like that's the one thing I've heard. Like I have a couple friends that have like splurged and got out and got some 4K cameras and like it's like takes me like 2 hours to even like render 15 minutes worth of footage, and then it crashes. So. Yeah.
He's had that happen a couple of times.
We lost some distribution deals because there are platforms all over the world that will only take 4K, and that was back in the first movie. So I knew I had to do it on this movie. What I did not understand, even though I did all the research, was your editing time and your cost is going to be double in post. I mean, there's just no way around it. Especially, I didn't shoot in faux 4K. Like I shot in true 4K, which is called 4KI. And right now, I have 72 terabytes, and I need about another 72 terabytes. Now, I've said that before in interviews, and people literally say, "Wait a minute, for one movie," and I go, "No, I shot 6 1.5-hour movies."
And I said, "Thanks. You couldn't have shot in 4K when I was 10 years younger and looked better. Now I'm like older and I got pores everywhere, and he's this close to my face."
Tony rolling
down
was like, "Hey, I mean, do you really want to shoot?"
Right? Are you sure we want to see her face that in detail?
Joking.
Oh Lord.
You need to simmer down, okay?
Right, Tony.
You wouldn't want me on 4K. I can tell you that. But I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for you guys. Hopefully, fingers crossed. You have 67 minutes left, and we're gonna let you go in a couple minutes, so that way you got 66 minutes. So that way you guys can do the whole minute by minute
countdown.
Well, exactly. What happens, and before we do all the push and links and all that kind of stuff, listen. After this campaign, if you guys would have us back on, I would love to sit down. Maybe bring on a couple of the actors.
We did get new backers.
And hopefully drive some of our fans and audience towards you and what you guys do and talk. I will tell you, besides 2 other people, and not saying that they were better, but I think equal, you guys were some of the most insightful and fun conversations that we had with anybody. And
there's a ton of interviews that we would do that they'd be like, "What's your favorite ice cream flavor?" And it's not that we won't talk about stuff like that, but it's like, well, we kind of want to talk about
if I'm in a tunnel and I'm getting I guess it would have to be Rock and Road. Definitely. By all means, I was actually going to say, there's all these people in the chat room. I'm like, why? Just come on, just come on the show. But we would definitely we would love to do that. For sure.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get some of the other cast to join us on the next one when we're not under a time constraint.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You guys can block me out and ask them what it's like to work for me.
Yeah, he never shuts up. None of us get to talk. We'll do interviews, and it's like the Oklahoma show. It's okay. Just kidding. I love you.
There's a lot of comments. So there's whatever happened has been fun.
It's been fun pushing and sharing here for the future. Thank you, David.
And
those do good interviews. Yes, they do. Definitely check them out. They have a YouTube channel. 67 minutes.
I don't blame them. But anyway,
too.
Yeah. So we should probably start wrapping things up so you guys can go. You have 64 minutes left.
Lose a couple pounds sweating.
That's what it takes. All right, I have to make a movie, and then I'll lose some weight. So where can people follow you besides Crawl or Die Trilogy? Like, you guys have your own private, Instagrams and stuff like that where you share some stuff. So where can people find you?
I'm Nicole M. Alonso on Instagram and Twitter. He's Oklahoma Ward on Instagram and Twitter. And then, you just search our names on Facebook and I'll come up. We have TikTok. It's called Crawl or Die, but it's so new to us that we barely use it.
Do you use it like Tony does? He just does the dances. Tony just does.
You wish.
Stuff. I've been leaning on some of the actors who are a bit younger that are into it. They make videos for me, but we have some on there that are pretty fun.
Hey, she has one that hit over 400,000 views.
Yeah,
we haven't figured out how to.
It was one that I was just me being goofy on set, like dancing, and one of our actors posted on her TikTok, and it got like 440,000 views. And I'm like, of course, but it's fun.
I also want to put one shout out here real quick because we do have some fan sites out there, but the Extreme Indie Fan Group,
yes,
they are. I mean, I don't know why or how they do what they do, but
on
those
Twitter,
people are amazing. They have been with us every day, every hour for years on end. So I do want to put out one quick shout out to them.
Yes,
nice. Someone's telling you to go live on TikTok.
Oh God, I can't. I don't have enough followers on the Crawl or Die TikTok because I don't use it.
Yeah.
Beretta, love.
And someone's these guys are so inspirational.
Oh, thank you.
He's from Melbourne.
Yes.
Melbourne, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's pretty great. I mean, it's always cool to have other people from other countries be like, yeah, I check your stuff out. So that's awesome, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So all right. So Tony, where can people follow you if they're interested?
You can follow me at Tony Has Nine Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews on anything movie related. You'll find on there. Tony Has Nine Fingers on Twitter, which I hardly ever use. Tony Has Nine Fingers on TikTok, which I do not do the dances. I do other movie reviews and more movie related stuff.
You should
Tony, you would go blind if you saw me do dances on there. So I don't want to get sued by anybody.
Yeah.
But Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me, and of course here most Tuesdays on the Wicked Horror Show. Kevin.
Just A-Knuckle on Instagram. Besides doing Wicked Horror Show, I do Wicked Horror Reviews with the 13th Wolfman over on the audio side. And I'm also part of Black and White Fright and Secret Underground Hideout, all of which are on the Dorkening Podcast Network. Go to thedorkening.com for more information there. Thank you very much, guys. Good luck. You have 61 minutes left. Let's get this done, guys. Hurry up.
Thank you guys so much for having us back on.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Let us know when we're.
Hey,
I mean, I don't want to pry, so that's why I don't push. So
we would love it. I would love just to sit down and talk with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. And one of our other guys is kicking himself because he couldn't come on tonight. So I know he would love it. So yeah, he would be all about it. So yeah, the 13th Wolfman, he would be all about coming on.
Yeah.
I remember him well from the last time. Yes.
And we also, I think, did a private interview with him.
I think the setup used to be that he would sort of go first, and then you guys would go.
Yeah, that was in the past. Yeah, he'd do the sit down, and then he would do the
Be sure to tell him we said hello.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. He may be watching, but
okay.
But thanks again, guys. Good luck with everything. Go head over to Crawl or Die Trilogy. Click on the Kickstarter link and support some awesome independent filmmakers. Right.
Thank you, guys.
And before we leave, any of our fans that are on here, support these guys. Try to check out their site, follow them. They're really good. They're really supportive and knowledgeable, and they're a fan of movies. They're real fans.
Yeah.
So not just of us, but of a bunch of people. So and thank you all for showing up. It's really beautiful. I'm looking through all the comments here.
Thank you, chat.
Thank you guys a lot.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
See you soon.
I hope you guys like the sequel.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will.
We will.
Yeah.
All right,
Have a good night.
You too.
Good night.